Let's move to another political party then, because hundreds of EFF members are expected to gather in Johannesburg as well as Cape Town to mark Land Reclamation Day. Now, the day notes the arrival of the Dutch navigators from the Dutch East India Company, Jan van Riebeeck, that happened in South Africa, of course, on this day in 1652. In this commemorative event, the EFF will highlight the historical injustices entrenched by colonialism and economic injustice in South Africa. Let's take you now to Sophiatown, which has its own dark history of forced removals during apartheid. We find Katleho Sekhotho there. Katleho, let's just take our viewers and ourselves right through the significance then of this day and events that are set to happen as well.
A very good morning, Arabile. Indeed, we're in Sophiatown, where the forced removals, which happened in 1950s, was a significant event. Thousands of families were displaced and taken to Soweto, Meadowlands largely, and really highlights the social injustices of the time as it relates to the possession of land and the apartheid regime really splitting up families and causing historical injustices in that light. So the EFF today gathering here in Sophiatown and the Land Reclamation Day, noting, as you rightly note there, the arrival of Jan van Riebeeck on this very day, but also looking at the journey throughout democracy in terms of how land distribution has been dealt with. If one looks at the signing of the Expropriation Act into law earlier this year by President Cyril Ramaphosa, perhaps EFF leader Julius Malema will touch on that. The EFF calling that law a cop-out, the signing of that law a cop-out, and not really redressing land possession in this country and addressing historical injustices. But I do have with me EFF national spokesperson Thembi to give us more details. Thembi, thank you for your time. Just take us through what the important message will be today as we mark this day.
Greetings to your viewers. The most important message that we have as the economic freedom fighters today is the redistribution of our land, expropriation of land without compensation, and not this artificial act that has been passed in South Africa.
And so if one considers the act which has now been signed, as the EFF, what will you do from this day on to effect change in the way you'd like to see it? Because it has been signed into law.
Well, we'll do the same, because if you remember, it was the EFF that came with the motion that went to public participation, which brought about this act, which was then amended by the ANC to allow for willing buyer, willing seller. So we are going to do the same and make sure that they bring about expropriation of land without compensation, the way it's supposed to be, uncompromising, no willing buyer, no willing seller. It must expropriate South Africa's land without compensation.
So tell us, Thembi, about the significance of holding this event in Sophiatown.
As you may know, in the 1950s, there was an act that was brought about which then segregated according to our races. So the people of Sophiatown were the ones that were dispossessed and sent to the Bantustan like Soweto and the rest, where it isolated and removed them from their own land, which Sophiatown, as we know, was a very lively suburb where our people were residing, enjoying jazz music, finding themselves happy. And then when this act was enacted, it then separated them to Bantustans.
And would you say, as the EFF, there's still very harsh consequences from the historical injustices that really still play out today? And do you think there'll be ever a complete solution to that problem?
There will be a complete solution to this problem once the expropriation of land is done the way that the EFF is saying it should be done. As you may know, the 1913 Land Act moved 80% and more of arable land to be in the hands of the minority, and This is 2025. This still remains. Nothing has changed. But as soon as expropriation of land without compensation for equal redistribution is enacted, like the EFF is saying, definitely there will be a change, because the economy will be in the hands of the majority. Land is economy.
And I guess just a last one, your message to your supporters, to your members, as you note this day.
We want to make sure that our people understand that land is important. Land is humanity. Land will make sure that we have the economy of this country and will be living like South Africans should be living. But now there's no difference since 1994.
Thank you very much. We'll leave it there. So, Arabile, you certainly heard it there from the national spokesperson of the EFF, just highlighting there the importance of this day. And the EFF leader, Julius Malema, expected, the things are expected to get underway within the next hour, and we'll hear that message from him as well.